Welcome. My name is Trey from Wipeout Athletics, and I want to personally thank you for viewing our nutrition talk. Today, we are going to discuss fueling for performance. Now, Wipeout Nutrition is affiliated with Healthy Steps Nutrition, and HSN believes something as fundamental as nutrition should not be complicated, including how to fuel for your workouts. Now, HSN has helped over 35,000 people around the world take control of their health. And here are a couple of incredible success stories from our gym. Are you looking to create your own success story? Well, this is simple. It's far from easy. Do you know what all 35,000 people had in common? They had a nutrition coach to help them stay accountable to their goals. And so for this nutrition talk, we're going to be talking about dialing in nutrition as a way to improve athletic performance. Let's get started. First, a question. Have you ever started a workout and quickly realized that you didn't have enough in the tank to finish? Have you ever hit a wall and just looked at the clock wondering why it is moving so slow? Well, if you are like me, odds are you've experienced this before. I know I have experienced this as both an athlete many times, and I see it as a coach fairly often. You see a member stop during the middle of a workout where normally they should be able to continue to progress. They have to take a seat, take a big breather, and try to recover so that they can finish the workout. Well, typically when we check on these types of athletes, they say that they're not feeling great, and they explain that they can't continue the workout. And so after that discussion, you find out that those athletes might not have eaten anything outside of, let's say, a morning coffee. So we need to understand why that athlete is feeling the way that they feel. And then afterwards, we try to have a discussion about how we can prevent this from happening in the future and ultimately help that athlete reach his or her goals. And typically what we find is that athlete has not fueled properly. So before we get into the best ways to fuel the day before an event, the day of an event, and how to fuel after an event for recovery, let's talk about who this talk is for. The truth is, the majority of us do not need to do anything uber specific or detailed beyond focusing on eating mostly whole foods, balancing out proper portions, and eating mindfully to reach our goals. And that includes working around a specific event. Now, if you have more specific goal that you're working towards, specifically a marathon or a CrossFit competition, or you're considered a more elite or advanced athlete, well, the details that you can use might take your nutrition to the next level and your performance to the next level, but that would require you to dial in a little bit more of these habits rather than nailing the basic foundational principles. We're going to talk about sort of in the middle of those two individuals. So in other words, we highly recommend having foundational habits nailed down before trying to focus on these specific details that might improve your performance. So if you're still trying to hit the basics, this might be something that you want to revisit in the future. If not, you got your basics down and you want to maybe advance to something a little more nuanced, we got you. Let's dive into the next stage of your nutrition journey. So let's talk about the day before. A lot of times it is stressed to eat more carbohydrates the day before an event in order to increase glycogen stores. So let's talk a little bit about glycogen stores and the biggest mistakes that athletes typically make when they are told to eat more carbohydrate. So first, glycogen is the stored form of carbohydrate that we consume. And it can be found mostly in the liver, but also in muscle tissue. In fact, glycogen accounts for about 6% of our liver's total weight and about 1 to 2% of our muscle tissue. So the actual amount of glycogen storage a person has depends on factors of how much exercise that person does, how much skeletal muscle mass you have, among others. So the glycogen stored in the muscles is primarily used for fuel for the muscle tissue, while the glycogen in the liver is distributed through the whole body when it is needed. So when someone uses up the glycogen stores, they experience the fatigue that they describe as hitting a wall. And this is exactly what happens to those members that you might see in, a group fitness class. So how can those athletes avoid early fatigue? Well, knowing this information, people start to utilize strategies that they need more carbs to fuel their workouts. And this is often referred to as carb loading. Now, while this is technically true, it turns into eating mounds and mounds of pasta the night before a big event, followed by a massive a stack of pancakes the morning of an event. And in our opinion, this is entirely wrong. First off, it takes time for your body to break down all those carbs that you ate, turn them into glycogen stores. And while the carbs might admittedly be important to fuel your workouts, there is a better way than just stuffing your face full of pasta and gorging on pancakes the morning of that event. So here's the secret. We stress this on a daily basis with our nutrition clients, and that is eating whole foods. Eating whole foods. Getting a balance of carbohydrate, good healthy fats, and protein, and eating consistently, and that may or may not include snacks depending on your particular goals. And staying hydrated, that's what you should be focused on. Balance of carbohydrate, fat, and protein, eating consistently, staying hydrated, and maybe the most important thing is eating primarily whole foods. In our nutrition program, we focus on one thing at a time. And so if you're looking for a secret, here it is. It's right in front of your face. It is the plate method. So the day before your workout, if you're looking for success, use the plate method where you use half of your plate for non-starchy carbs, non-starchy veggies, a quarter of lean protein, and a quarter of starchy carbs with healthy fats. So while eating a balanced diet the day before is going to set you up for success, you should also consider these 3 general tips the day before to maximize your performance. So first and foremost, we have all heard of the stories of the crazy professional athletes that consume a ton of alcohol the night before and go out and have the best game of their life. Let's not use those as the staple or the rule that we should follow in our own athletic performance. So first and foremost, we're going to skip the alcohol. We know that alcohol affects sleep quality the night before, which is going to play into one of the steps that we talk about in a second. Alcohol is probably something that you should stay away from the night before a big event. That's one. Number 2, get at least 80 ounces of water the night before, or the day before, so that you can be very well hydrated the day of. We know that anything up to 2% of dehydration or hypohydration can affect athletic performance. And this is something that needs to be done 1, 2, 3 days ahead of time. It's not something that you can do 1 hour before a big event. So make sure you are paying attention to your water intake. And lastly is prioritize sleep the night before. Again, we talked about alcohol affecting that quality of sleep, but if you skip the alcohol, prioritize your hydration with good water and good electrolyte balances the couple days before, and then prioritize sleep the night before. You are going to be set up for the best performance that you can have on the day of that particular event. Now, fueling the day of, morning versus afternoon. So let's use the CrossFit Open. The CrossFit Open is what is coming up in our world. And we have 2 primary tracks. You have people that are going to work out early in the morning, and you have people that are going to work out in the afternoons at such things like Friday Night Lights or some afternoon community event. All right. So we're going to stick with those 2 tracks as we move forward with this fueling day up. So if you are someone who likes hitting those workouts early in the morning, if you're one of those savages, we really want to make sure that we consume a little something before the workout. Remember those glycogen stores? Well, overnight, you enter a fasted state where your bodies utilize some of that for energy. So eating before is really important to replenish some of those lost energy stores. Now, the trick is you are working out so early in the morning. We just talked about prioritizing sleep. You're working out so early in the morning that you're a little bit hamstrung by the time constraints that you have. Okay. So we should aim for some healthy carbohydrate and a little bit of protein. So if you're someone who struggles to eat before a big event, maybe trying something like liquid sources, like a smoothie, protein smoothie, applesauce with protein powder, non-fat Greek yogurt, something where your body doesn't have to take a ton of time to digest so that you can then utilize that for energy. It's maybe not the best case scenario, but it at least gives your body a chance to get some energy stored so that you can crush that particular workout or event early in the morning. Notice that we suggested carbs and protein in that early morning liquid consumption, but not necessarily fat. Fat slows the digestion process. It delays gastric emptying, which can increase the amount of time that it takes our carbs and protein to get into the cells and be used for energy. So you have to be a little wary or at least understand how those macronutrients are broken down so that you can utilize this in the best case scenario for your particular case. In this particular instance, we're talking about early morning workouts where we're trying to get a quick dose of energy. We're trying to have some gastric emptying so that we can best utilize the carb and protein that we use in that smoothie, for example, as a way to fuel for the best performance that we have. Now, if you're one of the normal people, I use that term with all due love and respect for the savages that come in the early in the morning. But if you're somebody that goes in the afternoon or evening, it's probably easier for you than some of those early birds. We encourage you to eat consistently, eat like you normally would, breakfast, lunch, and a few snacks. Dinner, different story, but balanced breakfast, balanced lunch, just like you normally would, and then a couple of snacks. We want to fuel ourselves throughout the day and also have a little bit of an additional carbohydrate before the workout. Again, liquid source such as applesauce is a great choice here. The last two aspects for nutrition the day of. First, we advise not to try anything new on the day of the event. Trying a new food leaves uncertainty when it comes to your body and your ability to digest that particular food. So what if that new food doesn't sit very well? Having an upset GI tract is probably not the thing that you want to have to worry about when you are about to try to crush a big workout or a big event. And so stick to foods that you know you can handle. If you're interested in a new food performance, if you want to try a new recipe, we advise trying that out maybe the week before, seeing how it sits, and then you can move forward closer to your big event. If you are about to have the other thing that people ask is about pre-workouts, right? Should I consume some pre-workout before I crush this big event? Well, here's the thing. If you are doing something like a CrossFit workout, where your heart rate is going to immediately spike and you are going to have to focus on your breathing, adding a pre-workout is likely going to increase your heart rate more and your respiration rate more. It may not be the best practice to have to worry about those sort of physiological aspects in something like a CrossFit workout. Big strength piece, I'm maxing out on a squat or something along those lines. Pre-workout might be something that you could utilize to your advantage. But something that's already going to increase those physiological responses like heart rate and respiratory rate, pre-workout might be something that you want to stay away from. Again, you're adults, you can figure out what you want to do. But we recommend skipping pre-workout as well as sugary or candy, something that gets that quick sugar, quick spike, and then crashing. We don't recommend that either. Now, fueling after. So we discussed the day before, we discussed day of. So what does the day after look like for your intake to promote the best recovery that you have? Well, a great rule of thumb is to have a whey protein shake. You need to have some type of protein ready to go after your workout is over. And if you can combine that with some carbohydrate, this is a really, really good way to replenish and refuel so that your body can recover. So having something like an Ascent Whey, which is what we have in our gym, Ascent native whey fuel, combine that with some coconut water is an excellent way to have a post-workout or post-event type of intake so that you can start the recovery process. Focus on this 1 to 2 hours after your workout, ideally within 1 hour, but within 1 to 2 hours of your workout is ideal. And a post-workout meal 4 to 5 hours after your pre-workout meal, right? After your pre-workout meal. Now, if you are like some, and I am guilty of this, we love our post-workout treats, right? We want to eat pizza or donuts, nachos. We want to just we earned some of this. We're more sensitive to glucose, meaning we can get it out of our blood and into our cells faster, but we still want to focus on good quality foods. Remember, we are a habit-based approach here. And cueing behavior that doesn't play long-term, we're less interested in. So if you should occasionally be able to enjoy a treat. But if you always have to do that, that's probably not a behavior that we would recommend. So we like to say, look, be mindful of your treat, and then move on, right? Focus on, and then get back to your normal routine of whole food, plate method, some of these foundational habits. I also want to touch on the importance of putting this all together. If you aren't eating all day and then have your post-workout shake, you really can't expect to perform your best or replenish or refuel properly. And so remember, there's no such thing as a magic pill, but the closest thing that we might be able to come to that is consistency. Eating the consistent foods, right? Whole foods, things that you tolerate well, as well as having a strategy of food timing. Do you eat breakfast? Do you have a snack? Do you have lunch? Do you eat consistently throughout the day? Your body's going to be much more likely to handle all of that and then be able to perform than it would be having this brand new routine at the very last minute before your big event. So we want to be consistent in our strategies. Common thing is, what kind of protein or brand should I get? I mentioned that we have Ascent at our gym. We are an affiliate with, or we have an account with Ascent Protein. But what you really want to look at is stickers that show that you have an informed choice stamp, right? The supplement industry is not regulated by the FDA, which means these companies can lie and put anything into their product that they want. So you want to find a product that, one, you like the taste, and that, two, has quality ingredients. We like Ascent, but again, you can have your own brand that you like. This is the stamp that you would be looking for, this informed choice stamp. You find that, you probably are in a better place than not. Go ahead and find something that you like the taste of and go from there. We have our post-workout protein and carbs, but what does the day after the workout look like to help us recover? Again, best thing you can do is stay consistent with your intake, especially protein in this particular case. Protein is an anabolic macronutrient, which means that it allows your body to repair and recover, particularly the muscle tissue that you may have damaged slightly during that big event that you went into the day before. So, and also, don't ignore those recovery days. It doesn't mean you sit on your couch, but it doesn't mean that you come in and crush your soul the next day after that big event. Go for a long walk. Go for some non-exercise movement. Play some sports, right? Shoot basketball. Get on a slack line, something like this. Fueling for success is not about what you do right around the workout. It's more about how you structure your days and weeks in a consistent manner so that your body can then not have to worry about breaking down to store glycogen, and you just do what your body is accustomed to do. Be consistent. Last thing is maybe add an omega-3 source. You can do this by eating some salmon. There are some products that have some quality fish oils as well, but some omega-3 will allow that recovery to happen day after as well. So if you're looking for some more tips, you could check out episode 12 of the Nutrition Made Simple podcast. It has some tips on particularly preparing for the CrossFit Open. Now, we have some frequently asked questions that we typically have to answer. One is, or it's not even frequently asked questions, it's principles that can help the frequently asked questions. So look, the principle one is eat more whole foods, right? Eat more whole foods. If your food has one ingredient, good. Thumbs up, go at it, right? Eat more whole foods. Principle two, focus on a balance of protein, carbohydrates, and fat. All three will keep you fuller for longer, meaning the hunger stays regulated a little bit better. And a good rule of thumb is all meals and all snacks, if you can combine all three of those, you're usually in a good place. Principle three, limit the added sugar. It is recommended that 6 teaspoons for women and 9 teaspoons for men daily of added sugar. But the average person consumes over 150 pounds of sugar per year. That's 46 teaspoons per day. That's the amount of added sugar that you're getting typically in the diet. That is crazy high. And it's not surprising that we are in a health crisis here. Sugar is super addicting, and it is hidden in almost every food product you buy, particularly if it's packaged, which is why we focus on those whole foods. Added sugar is not going to be in those, and you can basically eat as much of that as you want, and you're not going to overeat. Now, frequently asked questions. How does sleep affect my health and wellness goals? In this case, how would it affect my performance goals that I want to achieve? Well, remember, sleep is an important aspect to our recovery. And so here is how sleep changes the physiology, particularly with nutrition. So when you are not getting enough sleep, cortisol, which is known as the stress hormone, increases. Another hormone, leptin, which makes us full, decreases. And ghrelin is a hunger hormone. It actually increases. So cortisol, your stress goes up. Leptin makes you full, goes down. And ghrelin goes up, your hunger hormone. So what that means is you have just prioritized the storage of fat, cortisol, because you're increasing cortisol hormone. You're less full and you're more hungry. You have set yourself up to absolutely overeat, to give in to cravings, and to increase your overall consumption, which adds to weight gain, lethargic, energy levels, decreased performance, all of these negative things that we want to sort of get ahead of. Another frequently asked question, what if I don't love veggies? We hear this a lot, and we hear this a lot with kids. We see it with kids and adults, but kids a lot. What if you just haven't found the way that you like them? So instead of boiling and making them very mushy and bland, how about roasting them so that you get a little bit of crunch? How about adding seasoning or a flavor that you enjoy? I'll add another tip. Your micronutrients from fruits and vegetables can go up, right? But if you don't like them from vegetables, try getting them from fruits. You can add into smoothies. You can add, eat berries, particularly berries. Berries are excellent. You can add these fruits, and it'll be a buffer until maybe you find the way that you like to prepare your vegetables. Last frequently asked question. So where do I start? This is a great question. First off, you can't optimize a habit that is not there. You cannot optimize a habit that is not there. So build the habit first. Start with one thing at a time. Maybe it's something you already have in mind, or maybe it's one of the things that we talked about today. But the best and fastest way to reach your goals is to get started. It may make your journey easier to get started with a nutrition coach that will help you build an individualized plan just for you. So if you are looking to take your fitness to the next level or just optimize the movement that you have already, here's your first step. You have to commit to yourself. You have to commit to making a change in behavior. It is simple, but it is not easy. Good news is we are here to help. Second step, asking for more help and support and accountability. Nutrition Talks that we provide is certainly a way that can get those creative juices flowing. And if you need more help, we have you covered. We try to simplify nutrition by focusing on habits that give you amazing results. Our goal is to provide accountability and support so that you can reach your long-term goals. If you're looking to hear more about this program or how this program can change your life, tune in to the Nutrition Made Simple podcast. We are opening up 5 spots. I'm going to put a link in the comments of this video, and I would like you to book a free intro so that we can talk about your goals, your journey, and how we can help you. These events come all throughout the year, but again, in our world, the Open is quickly approaching. We hope you have found some tips to fuel so that you can have the best performance and best success that you can possibly have. Thank you for your time in listening to the Nutrition Talk. If you have questions, shoot them in the comments, and we will see you next time.